Here's Toothcake. I'm going to go ahead and put together a MCC video tutorial since a couple of people have been asking me after it. So the first thing you're going to go ahead and see is the slot screen. Obviously this is the 4-man setup. We do have a 6-man fire team that has been modified by a member of ShackTac in order to include the actual fire team structure, but I don't think that has been tweaked for every map. The first thing you want to do from here is actually tweak the game parameters. Most of the trouble that we have with MCC relates to how it handles the death system. So this is kind of a way to try and minimize the pain in the ass. Because as it stands now, if somebody gets shot, odds are there's nothing that a medic can do for them. So just bear in mind that all of this is actually meant as a means to try and negate the difference between the interaction of MCC and ACE. So the first thing we're going to do is actually disable the revive. Set the revive time to 30 seconds and turn off what the hell is it? Spectator mode while unconscious. And beyond that, you've got a variety of other tweaks that you can make from this screen. I won't worry about the gear call and the time of day too much, because that's something that you can actually take care of in game. But particularly like in the resistance games, if you're using the AI, you can actually change this so it's hostile to east or west. But from there, as I was saying, the zone structure is pretty much the same, except it has less people. But you got like a special special forces slot, which is something I'll go into later. But for now, just for ease of use, I'm going to go ahead and pick the platoon commander and get into this. Map screen doesn't have anything different, so just go right through that. Alright, in order to access the mission generator stuff, it's just a middle mouse button over mission generator. And from here you need to log in. This can either be done by clicking the login button, or occasionally it'll come back and say access denied, specifically if you're on a dedicated server. And in order to get around that, you just have to create a zone. We'll go ahead over the features that are allowed to you as the mission maker as we go before we actually get into the fun stuff. The first ones are the ones up here. Ghost mode actually makes you invisible to the AI. So if you want to check out the EI, just to see how they're spreading out, or if for some reason you find yourself in the middle of them and you want to go in an official capacity rather than I'm here to shoot you capacity, use ghost mode. You will get a prompt saying that the mission maker is cheating. Don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. From there, it's teleporting. Fairly self-explanatory. You just click the button, click a spot on the map, and you're good to go. You also have a variety of server-side settings, or rather client-side settings, something like glass density and view distance. So this is especially useful with the new ACE changes that allow a client to set their own view distance if it's allowed by the server. So you can go ahead and set up 3,500 meters and get a nice surrounding view of the countryside. We don't use the real-time player editor. You won't be using these buttons with the weather. Also self-explanatory, as well as the time. With the spawn locations, as mentioned, MCC has problems with the ACE wounding system. So one of the things I've been trying is to disable respawn as a means to make it so that the ACE wounding system works as intended. This does cause it so that you can't jip in. So the way to get around that is to hit escape, hit abort until you're back at the slot up screen, and then just click OK. It's kind of annoying because the mission maker will have to teleport you, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. Beyond that, you've got the spawn points for different factions. Go ahead, like I said, we'll get into that a little earlier, especially with the special slots, since that's really the only specific exact need that you'll have with it. But anyway, most of the stuff in MCC works off of zones. This isn't the only way to do it now that we have the 3D editor, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it step by step. So go ahead and slap down a zone, 50 by 50 square, and I can now spawn things within this this square, I can make it so that there's a unit. Do a group of units. From there, we'll go ahead and actually look at the AI behavior. I don't remember the exact nuance of all of these, but aggressive, they'll actually patrol within this path. If somebody pisses them off, they'll chase them outside the path. With defensive, I think they're unaware until they actually start getting shot at, but from there they will chase the offenders out. With passive, I believe it's the same as defensive as far as demeanor, so they're not immediately aware of you until you start shooting at them, but they will not leave this square. With fortify, this one's kind of interesting. If there's buildings or unused equipment here, they'll actually inhabit that as soon as the AI realizes it's there. And with ambush, they'll go stealthy, trying to ambush you as best they can. Fairly explanatory. And with on-road, offensive and defensive, they will either go to the nearest road or hang off the nearest road and try to ambush you as you come by. With the awareness, that's kind of the combat settings, just as far as whether or not they'll come back and get you right away. Default, I think, is just safe, so you can go from aware that they know that you're there, but won't necessarily make any aggressive moves towards you. Combat, which they know that you're there, they will actively hunt you down. Stealth, obviously stealthy, and careless, which is, I believe, safe. With the tracks, you can actually set this so that the AI will display what path they are taking around this square, and even with other areas. So if you're commanding them, I believe it will show it as well, but it will definitely show it within the grid. So let's go ahead and demonstrate this. So in this square, this rifle squad that I'm going to spawn, it can spawn anywhere in this 50 by 50 grid. So go ahead and slap one down. So there's your squad. And they're in ambush mode. So we're just going to go ahead and chillax, I guess, until some baddies come along. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and move on. So same deal with the infantry. With this one, if you want to set on in a specific units, you can do so. So if I want to give them a, I don't know, let's give them a rib. There you go. You got a rib in there for some reason. Oh, okay. Well, you see in the bottom it's telling me no good position found, so at least has the common sense to realize that there's no water nearby. But you get the idea. Faction list is up here, so you can change this to any of the factions. Thankfully, it actually reads the ACE functionality automatically, so you even got the stuff that's included with the Shack Tac pack, the Vichez and African Dwalas, all that stuff. And again, this goes back into the grids, so you just want to make sure that you're not, in this case, like put into, you want to always be aware of the grid that you're spawning things in. So, pick it up. Okay, just to explain what happened there, if you notice up along the top here, you've got the different menus. Jumping ahead of myself a little bit, but this is your best friend, the clear area. So you can choose which specific type of asset you want to delete and the radius. So with that one, I just chose man, and I cleared out everybody. One of the really cool things I think about MCC is the 3D generator, because I mean this allows you to do everything that you could in the actual mission generator itself, without having to use zones. So I can come in and set down, I don't know, let's build a quick set of fortifications. Controls are listed off on the right there. There, got a nice little defensive building that serves absolutely no tactical purpose other than cover, but it just kind of demonstrates the versatility of the 3D generator. I mean, a lot of what I do in the game really depends on just how quick I am with the 3D generator and with the spawn points, and even there, from it just comes down to creativity. So I mean, if I wanted to go through and have it so there's an AA nest here, and you've got 3 guys with an H barrier and a Zeus truck. You know, there's an objective. One of the other neat things is the box generator. With this one, you can actually choose make a custom box. So it's you know, you need to drop down a bunch of 148s. Just go ahead and move them over. And when you're actually using weapons and stuff, it'll do its best to go through and assign you the proper ammunition to go along with that. That also extends to batteries, like the SOFLAM, just because it'll pop it in there right away. The thing to bear in mind with this is that there is no distinction between, given between the standard ACE stuff and the vanilla Arma stuff. So you may be that you're meaning to, this is especially poignant with explosives, because the ACE explosives are a lot more involved than the vanilla Arma explosives. So with that, you may need to do a little bit of experimentation, or actually use the standard boxes that they'll give you, and I'll show you that in a minute. But once you have the contents of your box made up, just hit generate, click a spot, and just drop it as if you're in the 3D area editor. So there you go. This might take a second before people can interact with it. If it does, just turn around, run away, come back. No big deal. As I was saying with the boxes, again, you can do this through the 3D generator or the spawn point. I personally like using the 3D generator just because I can personalize the placement and just kind of get it exactly where I want to. But under ACE AMO, this is where everything is. So all this stuff. With some of these, the top option doesn't work. Basically, just screw around with it until you get something. I'll just show you an example. I'm going to try and drop a medical supply box. Doesn't show up on the first one, but if I switch to the second one, there it is. So, and you can switch around with the different factions in this as well. Just make sure when you change, you hit update, and you'll notice sometimes. Let's see if I can demonstrate it here. Try this again. That when you update something and you've got like an infantry or a unit tab selected, it won't automatically update itself. Just go ahead and reselect it, and then you'll get what you need there. So, easy peasy. Okay, so let's go ahead and try and mess around with some of the functions in menu 2. When it actually comes down to dynamic stuff, this may be your best friend, specifically if you're like me and you like doing hostage rescues and airdrops and casts and stuff like that. So the first thing I'm going to start with is up here, the explosives. So with this one, obviously it sounds fun already, just because, you know, who doesn't like blowing things up or putting people in a position to get blown up. But it's a little dodgy, not so much because of the mechanics, it's just the way that they handle themselves, because the IEDs are fine. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate one here. Not a notebook, that's too small. Let's try a barrel. So you just kind of select the type of what you want. So medium objects, you can do hidden IEDs, wrecks, all this other junk. Suicide bombers we'll get to later. And then what it looks like. And from here you can actually go into what the different explosion sizes are: small, medium, large, deadly, disabling, and fake. With the actually, I haven't messed around with disabling too much. I might do that here. Choose the disarm duration. I'll kind of show you what that does here in a second. Jammable, I'm not sure what that does. I'm assuming it has something to do with the the engineer. On some of the elements has an engineer, and that might be able to jam it. You can choose the target, and also the trigger type. So you can set it so that's proximity, or if you as the mission maker have to send it off, and also the proximity that it will detonate at. Obviously, bigger number, there's more of a chance, or actually a bigger chance that it will detonate as you get closer. So 3 meters, 5 meters, 10, 15, and so on. And ambush, this is unrelated if you're using IEDs, but if you're using an ambush, I'll go ahead and show you that. But as far as disarming these things, I'll go ahead and show you. So, got our IED out, it's just over there. Obviously, you want to be careful when you're around an explosive, so I'm going to advance on this slowly. I'm not even sure if it'll trigger if I'm in ghost mode, but you know, good habits, I guess. Yeah, alright. Looks like it's not going to behave correctly because I'm in ghost mode, so it's going. Okay, so that's how you place IEDs. When it actually comes down to things like suicide bombers, it's a little different. You get to, with this one, it actually kind of helps to set the faction to what you want it to appear as. So obviously if you want civilians, make them civilians. So switch back over to suicide bombers. Choose the type, explosion size, same thing as everything else, and actually set them down. So what they'll do is when they detect the target faction, come on. Take something here real quick. View distance went back down. There we go. See, he'll start running towards you. So obviously, this guy's making a hostile action. There you go. So that's a suicide bomber. Again, you can choose the blast size and everything else just to determine if you want that to be deadly. Just bear in mind that the blast actually is a little overpowered, because even if I was standing way back there and somebody popped him, it would probably still hurt them. So, kind of a pain in the ass. The last type is, go ahead and get into ghost mode for this, is the ambush. So this is actually kind of functions as a trigger. So you just, first thing you do, you just want to make sure you have a hostile, or an armed faction rather, and then you can choose the type of ambush that you want. So again, proximity. So let's go ahead and have it so 25 meters. These guys will pop up. Militia group, and then create ambush. So you hold it down, and then you can also choose the arrow that they will spawn in. So these guys are kind of key to me right now, so you can see that they popped out. But that's kind of, it's neat for setting up ambushes that you don't want to have immediately visible. Just bear in mind that with the AI in 1.60, they are killers, so that may be too much if you get a small player count. So use sparingly, or at least give you guys some warning and spawn them a fair degree out. So I'm going to clear those guys. Okay, and that pretty much covers the explosives and ambush portion. So what we got next is the convoy. Now, just bear in mind with this one, you're dealing with the idiosyncrasies of the AI. So specifically when it comes to driving, so you might be subjects to some kind of annoying crap. Just roll with it. And let's try and find. I'll just do the. Okay. Another bug there that you saw. It won't immediately update. So just go ahead and switch tabs and come back. Go ahead and spawn in friendly convoy. One of the cool things with this is you can actually have a high value target. So this is somebody that if you don't just want to burn the entire convoy, you can include a high value target. So let's have a hooker, because why not? In a desert Humvee. I believe it is car 3 or 4 that will be the replaced with the high value target vehicle. But let's go ahead and make this interesting. So we got an LAV, Mark 19 Humvee, and just a couple of 5 tons. Okay, so with this one, you're going to go ahead and hit place convoy, and this is going to spawn it in and also define the route. You should get 4 waypoints, I believe. So there's a start waypoint, waypoint 1, waypoint 2, waypoint 3, and the end point. So convoy placed, those guys are spawned in. They are visible on the map, they are attackable, and there's a very good chance that it's actually going to fuck up en route, so just be aware of that. When you're ready for these guys to actually move, just hit start convoy and they will roll out. Go ahead and go to the 3D editor just to show you. So they're going to go ahead and do their best to get arranged before they start moving out. We'll see if they succeed in that task. Just kind of goes to show, if you want to place the convoy, do so on relatively flat grounds, free and clear of obstructions, just to make it a little easier on yourself. It looks like they'll eventually get sorted out, hopefully, and move in a line towards their objective. The key here is kind of also not to place the waypoints too close together. They do need room to maneuver, and it seems like if you put too much down, they'll get all confused. Alright, so it looks like we still got a third there. The fourth vehicle is not getting itself sorted out. Might just be hung up on the objects, so let's try to delete him and see if it'll clear him out. Just bear in mind with that, with the delete through the 3D editor, it's kind of finicky. You might have to play with it a little bit until you get the exacts. There we go. Now it looks like that vehicle's gone. The rest of them are woken up and just left with a bunch of confused infantry. So there you go. Okay, so that's convoys. High value targets, it's really something that only applies when you're in combat, but just bear in mind that's something, again, that you want to go ahead and advise your players on, let them know that what they're looking for, and I believe that it functions the same as a hostage, so once they're out you can just do an add action and secure the hostage. I'll show you that in a minute with a different, actually I'll show you that now. One of the nice things is that you can actually do the hostages. So with this one, if you want to have it that your players are assaulting objective with the intent to rescue a hostage, this is the way to do it. Because you can go into the 3D editor and drop them right down. One of the nice things about it is that you can do this with, let's find a good building. Because you can change the altitude. In a 3D editor, you can drop him on a building. So there you go. We're not getting that guy because he's on a roof, but I'll tell his family that they love him. So when it actually comes down to the rescuing hostage, MO, SOP, whatever, mechanics, this is how it goes. So I'm going to drop him in front. Even though they come out armed, they'll go into a surrender animation. So when you come up to one, secure hostage, it'll add them to the AI as part of the group, and you can order them around from there. So, easy peasy. Hooray, we got you up. Okay, so while we're over on this panel here, you can see that there's the airdrop, CAS, and artillery. With the airdrop, it's kind of cool. You can actually go through and do things on the fly. So vehicles, tracked and statics. So if you want to drop a artillery for some stupid reason, you can. With this one, I believe, just on the artillery example, that this one isn't the ace one. So this is standard armor. You can spawn the ace artillery in via the 3D editor or the zones, but not that specific one. Basically, the biggest way you'll be using this is through ammo. It'd be nice if you could use a 3D box, but you can't. So you kind of got to just roll with it a little bit. But let's go ahead and do a little bit of a drop here. Still doing a Humvee. Instead of going right to call, you got to add it to the queue. So it'll display in the queue which is up. and just kind of give you an idea of what, where it'll be dropped in line. So generally with the C-130, it'll drop all of these, three of these at once, but depending on the size, it may not. Let's go ahead and see which one we get. When you're ready, just click call, and then click the point on the map. While we're waiting, an extra instance, we're kind of on the subject of parachutes. When you're spawning this stuff in, you can also choose paratroopers. So this goes back to this will actually drop them on the zone. So you can choose small, which would be 6 guys, and a large, which I believe is 12. And the appropriate vehicle would come by and actually drop them off. So there you go. There's an airdrop. We have 3 vehicles, and as you can see from the parachute, they can get a little fucked up as they're coming down. I believe they will right themselves, but I guess we'll find out. That one didn't. That one definitely didn't. Okay, maybe it did. Let's get closer and see how it came out. Okay, it looks like these will always spawn as empty, which will bring me to my next point that I will demonstrate after we see if this survived the drop. Which it looks like it did. Okay, so it will right itself, and even if it looks like it fell straight out of the sky, it won't. Okay, about empty vehicles. This is specifically, this implies pretty well to if you're actually spawning in vehicles to people. As you'll notice, you know, let's say we want a helicopter here. So go US Army, helicopter. Come on, helicopter. There we go. Let's say we want an AH-6. So the default is empty. So if you're not paying attention to this, this is what will happen. Really fucking annoying. So just make sure if you want to spawn in for a player, change that to empty. Yes. Try that again. Change that to empty. Yes. This is why clear is your best friend. Delicious, delicious quiet. And 1 dive bombing pilot. Okay, so from there, you get the CAS one, so you can actually choose what type of flyby you want. So, variety of American and Russian aircraft. You can also choose what number that you want them to come in, and the approach and the type of munitions. Now, this stuff is fairly self-explanatory, but because it is the AI, there's kind of a cool functionality in it, which I'll demonstrate in a moment here. Let's go ahead and give myself a SOFLAM and a target. Making sure it's empty. Okay, that one hates me. Let's try that again. Yep, never mind. Looks like it sorted itself out. Where'd that truck go? Didn't place the truck. Looks like it placed the box. Yeah. Okay. So again, good example. Always be aware of what it is that you're placing. So with that one, because I was still in box generator mode, it was wanted me to. When I chose it to spawn something, it decided to place a box. So let's try it with an actual truck. You can probably see where this is going. With the AI, since it is actually a laser guided bomb, so LGB, you can mark targets, which is kind of a neat functionality. So I'll go ahead and choose the approach from the southwest, and right there. So from here, pop the battery in. Oh Jesus, it didn't give me a battery. Yellow vase. Okay, round 2. Pop the battery in. There's your target. And wait for the cast. Sounds like it's coming. Kaboom. See? Gutted that right in. Alright, and the last tab on this one that you're really going to be messing with is the artillery tab. I personally think it's more fun just to have player artillery, but I can see why. If it's a low player count, that might not be feasible. But you can choose the type of munitions. So just go ahead and have a smoke screen. You can choose the spread. So mostly this is if you want to make it reliable. So on target, precise. So in the area, tight. In the area, not quite as accurate, or wide in the general area. And also the number of shots. So we're going to go ahead and have a let's make it 5-shot volley. It's probably going to kill my frame rate in that area. So with this one, usually you'll get this shot right as you call it in. See, there it goes. We're getting smoke. So if you want to go ahead and use that. With this one, if the map contains a body of water that is large enough, it'll actually go ahead and spell out in the LHD. I think it's the LHD, but it's basically the aircraft carrier. So with this one, you can choose what you want to spawn in on the different landing pads. Generally, we don't have many maps that can actually support this. It'd be nice to change the pace occasionally, but you probably won't be using it. Which brings us over to tab number 3. With this one, it largely pertains to mission briefing. So you can generate different markers on the map and place them. So with this one, we can choose the type of the marker color. Which, if you're actually using the icon that comes with the game, it's not going to do any good. But you can mark it and place it as you like. Okay, I guess it does do something. As you see, it selected as black, and it is showing as black. So try white, see if we can get it so that's the one we want. Yeah. Just try it again. It might be the text that fucked it up. Not specifically. If you want it actually to show what you want, make it white, so it's the transparency. But anyway. So you can mark objective this way. It's mostly, I think, for ambient or map stuff, because you can, as I'll show you in a minute, you can set up your own tasks and place those. So with the brushes, this is again something to do on the map. So if you want to kind of generate like, oh, bad area above this line, so with that, and just a nice wide one. Color white. Actually, let's do this one red because bad area. Bad area. So there you go. Kind of shows you. Should probably done that X. Now that I think about it, just so it doesn't look so stupid. But that kind of shows you where, like area of interest, bad area, search pattern, whatever you want to do. And let's see. Okay, briefing generator. You can actually type out a briefing. So it'll actually show up in your, in your diary, maybe. I think there's a test something. Might not right. I don't really, as you can see, I don't really use this that much. But let's actually try coming up with one. Okay, might just be that it's disabled for some reason. I don't know. Or it just shows up for everybody but me. But it's there if you want to try it. The task generator, it's kind of the same deal. So you can set it as a waypoint. So with this one, go to your map. Huh. Yeah, I definitely think that might have got shut off, or it just doesn't work this version. Try it one more time just to see. Webinar. Alright, no joy on that, so if you were thinking on coming up with a extra special briefing that people can check on their diaries, haha. Actually, maybe that's what we did, because it's technically doing it for the wrong people. Faction, am I don't know who I am. Alright, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Let's try it once more with the army, and if that doesn't work, we're moving on. Yep, no joy. Okay. Anyway, it's there. It may be because I'm on the wrong faction or something. I don't really know. But from there, you got the jukebox in there, which you may not be using as much. But one of the things I actually use fairly often is the rescue chopper. So this is actually kind of nice if you want to do an insert and you don't have enough people to fly in. So you can choose the type of chopper. Since it's generally a transport chopper, you want to choose a transport chopper. Since we're high-speed, low-drag, I'm going to do an MH6 at 50 feet, 50 meters flight height, which is spelled wrong. And we're going to be fast roping it. So I'm going to go and spawn that guy. So that spawns him in. And then it's actually on the LHD, so you're going to have to relocate him. Drop him right in front of us. Right there. Hello. And then you want to go ahead and jump in, assuming you're going to want to be riding with your people. Come on, let me get. It might be because I shot that other guy and he's. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now that he's spawned in, you can delete the pilot if you want a player to fly, but just showing off the AI. And from here, you've got 3 waypoints that you can choose. So he's going to follow a route, or you can just go straight to one waypoint and fly him there. So we're going to actually go ahead and fly somewhere and just fast rope in. So right over here.
Roger, we just got launch authority.
And because we're awesome, let's go ahead and have some music. Once it gets in a hover, this is actually just him changing altitude, so that's why I look like a spaz out. Just trying to locate the LZ. He'll eventually get himself sorted out, and the ropes will go out. Alright, he'll give you the clear for fast roping. And because I'm not in the back, it won't let me fast rope out. So that was a good trip. So I'll change him up and just have him land so I can get out of here without having to start over. Okay, now that we are safely sort of on the ground, jump out. Okay, with him, it will also throw you out, so make sure that you are, if you're going to land, you are conscious in choosing a LZ that isn't a clusterfuck. So after you're done, just return to LHD. He'll go do his thing. And once he hits the edge of the map, he'll respawn because there is no LHD. Alright, which brings us to menu 4. I don't really use triggers too much with this just because it takes a little degree of planning and foresight, which I tend to not to have when I'm doing these. But you can actually build them out prior. So entire situations, I don't know if you noticed, safe is actually save. So it'll save it to a clipboard that you can actually paste into a note file, and then it'll be loaded by it. The only problem with doing it this way is that when you load up everything, you actually don't have the control to place new objectives. So zones will not work. It's strictly what you built, and that's it. So kind of a trade-off there. But you can go through and choose the activation. And once you have everything set up here, you can actually capture the action so that it will be saved in the trigger for that zone. So just like a brief, it's a west present. Just going to drop on in front of us. So go ahead and generate it, and from here we can, it's capturing everything that we do. Actually, hang on, I want to do that differently, I think. Okay, mulligan. Try that again. So it's not going to fire right when I get over. And so if you run down the taxiway and we hit that point, it is going to play music again. Not sure if that's going to work because it's music, but it just kind of shows you the possibilities. Recording. Okay, so that didn't work as planned. Let's try this other one. No, that's just the regular spawn. Anyway, generally works best for units if you just want to get like a bunch of shit in the same area. It kind of sucks because normally in the mission editor you can actually set like waypoints and stuff for people as part of the mission itself, so the AI is going to spawn in, it'll follow a direct line. But with this, not so much. You can't do that. So it really is just kind of handling things on like rescue choppers or patrols or things like that is the best way to go about it. So a couple of things back over here. Now that we're done with the triggers, you get different modules. So with this, you can actually turn on animals. civilians and vehicles. Obviously, this may affect rules of engagement and, at the very least, your frame rate, or some people's frame rates. So if it's definitely your choice if you want to use them, but they do add in a bit of flavor to the missions. There's also the town rainer, or town generator rather, which self-explanatory. You can go ahead and set the radius, so how big it is, and also the state that it is in. So I'm going to spawn one over there. Probably not at our front. Let's try it up on the hill. Anyway, still not up front, but whatever. In that vein, you also have the battlefield generator. So this will actually go through and generate a very fucked up area. So you notice you get the crows, you get the smoking husks, you get the rubble and all that other stuff, and you get some goats. Hi, goats. You win this round, goat. And if you decide that you want to have a mobile spawn or even construction, you can do it that way as well. So get the mobile spawn, self-explanatory. Set the vehicle. With this one, you set the side and the funds. So you can actually, if I remember right, there is a capacity to award funds. It may just be that it's straight. Actually, let's try it. Construction stuff. Maybe just be for putting together stuff. I'm not sure if there's an ability to add different funds or if you generate it automatically, but there you go. As mentioned, you get the clear area and command line. Don't really use that, but this up here, the units management, is going to be your best friend. So you can see that it's when the player's in, they'll be listed here. You can do a variety of things. You can teleport them to the LHD. Not a good idea because we don't have one. Mark them on the map. Hijack them. Can't do this with players. Make them a commander if you have AI forces. Add a group to the high command or pair drop them in. So just demonstrate. Why is this not working? There we go. So it'll pair drop me in. It's also the teleportation one is probably the one that you're going to be using the most, just because if somebody dies, they're going to need to get back up to the group if you decide to do it that way. Once we get I get dropped, kind of lead into the next one. Actually, I can do this from the plane. This sets you up for a couple of different things, this ability here, primarily the hijack and the commander one. So let's say that I want to just do it zone 2. As you notice, probably the AI placement, you know, it's really kind of bound to these zones, or it's very static. It's an instance where your guys have to go to them. With this unit management, we kind of take that away a little bit, because let's go ahead and spawn in some dudes. If I do a through the wonder of the high command system, I can actually exhibit some control over these fellows. So with the when you're shooting your commander unit, it's best to do something that's easily identifiable. So Colonel Z's here, as you see in the units, is marked as a Z's. So very easy to locate. Okay, so once you do, you select this guy, hijack him. Possession is a beautiful thing. Okay, now if we kick back over to the players, you'll notice that there are now 2 of me. Okay, this red X right here, notice how it changes? It's going to be your best friend in determining which of you is which. So, because I like being my toothcake, so Aziz's toothcake right now, so I can demonstrate this, you'll notice that it is in the zone that I placed. I've got a nice red X over me. So, just kind of pay attention to where you're at. From there, make yourself the East Commander. And since we have a group already, just change it to groups right up here. Click east. Add group. Now I have minions. And I can, once it actually realizes that I'm in command of them, there we go. Set a waypoint. And these fellows, once they realize that they're actually in game, will listen to me. So, go ahead. Still coming out of it a little bit, I think. Still trying to figure out how to get them so that they will not be stuck at a walk. Been kind of playing around with doing that with different awareness. So, combat. Let's try this again. So this section. Spawn them in under, well, maybe try where. Spawn them in. Oh, looks like they're still super chill. Anyway, you can add in different groups that way. So now we have the workings of a counterattack. So easiest way to overcome the movement constraints is to do as such. Spawn in a motorized infantry squad, because that way they will have the squad, or the truck, and be able to move faster. Just bear in mind that you still are bound by the constraints of the AI. Normally, or for example, you know, if you ever played single player, you know how annoying the AI is at advancing under combat. You know, it really is just like slow pace. So you got to kind of bear that in mind, especially if they've got a way to walk. The trucks are a good way to overcome that, but you'll notice as soon as something starts shooting at them, everybody will disband. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate that hurt. See the squad out there on the horizon. And they'll eventually make their way over there. Now that he's got him sort of sorted out, do my bidding. Might just be because the progress is in a piece of shit and can't get any throttle whatsoever, but they'll eventually make their way over that way. Looks like my guys actually got their asses in gear, are now running to engage the enemy. Alright, the key here is to remember that technically I'm a different faction. So if I run up, not only do I look different, so I'm, you know, you've got actual players and you're screaming at them, don't shoot, don't shoot. Odds are they're still going to shoot, because, you know, why not? But specifically applies to the AI, because, you know, now that I've got Blue Force soldiers over there, if I run up, they will shoot me. And specifically, since this game is treating me like a an actual player, that means that I will die. So you'll notice I can shift back and forth to the other player. If you lose both copies, bad things happen. You are technically dead. My dude's up on the hill. So usually they will continue on even if you switch back, but as you can see, it does tend to get a little screwy sometimes. It may just be that they're getting their pathing working out. Their guns are up, so they're aware, I think. But it's a good idea is if you're going to command the AI, just command them. You know, you can delegate somebody to do fire team lead or something like that, just so you can actually concentrate on giving them a good experience. So, and just to wrap this up, let's have a super sweet face-off. Alright, go ahead and change back to units. Finding the right toothcake. Being the commander of Blue 4. Switching back to groups. Hold down Control to multi-select. I don't know if I went over that earlier. And add group. Alright, so that goes over pretty much everything. Let me just do a quick check here, make sure I've got everything. Yeah, looks like that's it. Hope that was helpful. Happy building.